way more expensive than you can get anywhere else. And the thing that makes me most mad about too many games, our friend George would go, and he would bring stuff in that he bought there for like full retail price, and he'd be like, "Hey, can I put these in the disc buffer?" And I'd look at him, and I'm like, "Oh my god, these people brought these discs here, like these PS1 discs looking this crappy." And they're just like, "Yep, $500."
We live in this very strange world going based off that, where everyone sells like the crappiest, most scratched discs, but the people that come to our store expect the most perfection to ever exist. Where like we have a disc that's like completely resurfaced, like professionally resurfaced, but because like we have like these disc sleeves that like leave like the tiniest dust imprint if they're let like sit for like a couple months, like a year or so, and people will be like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want this because it has a dust print on it." And it's like, where do you buy your games? Everyone sells like the biggest crap in the world.
We have multiple times a week, people bring in discs that they bought like on eBay, and they're like, "Hey, can you fix this? I just bought this on eBay." And I'll look at it, I'll be like, "God dang, this is bad." It's and, like hockey puck.
I'm not trying to toot our own horns, like being like we're the only good game store, but like I bought when like COVID was happening, I like mass bought like a billion PS1 games to like be like I just want to be done with this. I want to get the stuff. I don't want this stuff to jump up in price. And looking at it, it was a good decision. But like I would honestly say that I probably bought 100 PS1 games, and 99% of them needed major buffs.
Right. I just don't get it. I actually was talking to Trevor the other day. I was like, it's probably recency bias, but I feel like people in general have been pickier than they've ever been. And I don't know if that's true or not, but like, I guess my general dividing line is if someone is much pickier than I am, and I'm pretty picky about what I put out, I'm like, damn, you are picky, man. Like, 95% of people, they'll be like, "Hey, I'll take that system. What's the warranty entail?" And I'm like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." You know, and that's it. That's 95% of people. But the other 2 to 5% are like, holy crap.
Yeah, and like obviously it's the mental impact of like the negative experiences stick out in your mind a lot more than the positive. So even if like negative experiences are only like 1% of the transactions you have to do, like that it sticks in your mind way more. So it does seem like it's like overwhelming or like way worse than it actually is, but it's still very annoying.
All I can say is I've learned a lot about old systems from people being incredibly picky about stuff like one chip Super Nintendos and those Sega Genesis Model 1s that have the very first one that how do you say it, has that little like green computer chip that sticks out of the bottom if you look at it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And SPCH 1001 PS1s. There was somebody looking for the most specific PS2 humanly possible like a month ago.
And Samus died.
It's over. Where it was like the newest PS2 Slim, so the one that doesn't use the power brick, but like the serial number had to be like ridiculously, I forget if it was low or high to signify it was like one of the last ones ever made. And I was like, oh man, okay, I guess. Like, I looked at it and I'm like, it's not whatever the heck it is you're looking for, but it's like,
yeah. And there's just
so picky.
There's just such specific things. Like literally, this happened. I sent a message about it. It happened this week of someone being like, "I want the gold card Adventure of Link, but it has to be the oval Nintendo logo one and not the circle logo one." And the only copy we had was the circle logo. And I was like, I literally didn't even know that this was a thing.
I mean, I guess if you've collected every single Nintendo, I didn't even know that they have 2 different logo things. I had no idea.
Like, I know that people like 3-screw versus 5-screw variants, but like, yeah, can I get the oval logo? And apparently, like, he wasn't even like he was obviously a collector, but he basically said that he wanted a replacement copy. Oh, by the way, nice Metroids.
Based. Let him out.
The Prime games kind of have this unfortunate thing where they make the Metroids really lame. All the games, like, it's just like in Metroid Prime 1, the space pirates are breeding Metroids, and in this is like an old abandoned Chozo outpost, and they just have Metroids that they're researching, I guess, to breeding them. And I don't know, the Prime games really make the Metroids look really lame, and when we start fighting them, like, they're really easy too. So I don't know, it just kind of defeats the purpose of, like, in Metroid 2, like, Samus goes to Zebes and it kills all the Metroids, and it's like, okay, they're extinct. Oh, but what about Chozo Outpost number XYZ? They have Metroids there, probably. It's like, oh, Metroids are lame now.
Rip. So they've just been here for like years and years?
I guess so. I don't particularly care about the Prime game lores to, like, read all the data entries. It's just, I don't really like that sort of storytelling.
I was just trying to think, like, do they need to eat?
I guess not. And also, like, none of the Prime games ever had, like, they have the Metroid Prime, which, by the way, is, like, the worst fight in the entire series. Anyone who's played that game is, like, literally, like, a toddler boss fight where you, like, have to match the color of, like, what the Metroid Prime is, like, radiating. So if he's purple, you have to use the wave beam. It's literally like a toddler boss, but it's also really boring. Anyway, Metroid Prime 1 is great, except for the final boss. It's horrible. But yeah, all the other Metroid Prime games only have the infant Metroids, like these ones. They don't have, like, Gamma or Omega or Zeta or whatever. It's also kind of lame.
Zeta. Frogs!
Tribes is gonna beat Halo.
On the back of the box for, what is it, Tribes? What's the subtitle for that
like
game?
Out?
Aerial Assault or something like that?
I thought it was like Out something.
You might be right. Anyway, Tribes, the shooter game for PS2, it says either Halo Killer ? Or Halo Killer period. Like, this is a Halo Killer. It's like, I'll tell you what the Halo Killer was. Halo was the Halo Killer, or at least 343.
The most pathetic one. There's a PS2 game called Warhammer 40k. Oh god, I don't remember.
Is it the one with the Battle March or something like that?
It's the one with the mech on it.
Yeah, it's like a reddish orangish color.
It has the quote, "Who needs Halo?" It really reminds me of 40 Winks. The quote on that one is, "Move over, Mario."
We played that game for Let's Tries, and it was alright.
It's alright.
Yeah.
It's definitely not bad. It's definitely one of those nostalgia games.
Yeah, but it like, you could tell it was like a 6 out of 10 from the 15 minutes we put into it.
Alright, so we went through this entire Metroid breeding facility, and we just took out an energy cell. What do you think's gonna happen?
Dun 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 dun.
Whoa, what the?
That was really cool.
He just 180'd.
I guess that's something you can do.
I think that was some sort of, like, sometimes the game doesn't do a animation. Yeah, all you have to do is one ice missile plus a charge blast.
Well, luckily you have ice missiles now.
Yeah. That's the one thing that's consistent with all Metroid games, where they're very weak to cold temperatures. Also, you can just use the hyper beam as well. So, I guess it shows the escalation of the threat and how strong Samus is getting, because Samus has, like, phase-on hyper beam on command now, but it's also, like, corrupting her. But it's, like, at this point where she's just so strong that the Metroids just look like a joke. But it also makes the Metroids, the namesake of the entire series, look really lame.
We've said it several times before, but Metroid for the NES, I honestly think is one of the more overrated games, really ever. Very important in terms of video game history, and just being, like, for 1986, my god. But it's just not a fun game. It's not very well made. And I can honestly say that because there are games like, Mario 2 and 3, and lots of stuff that came out that period of time, where, like, Castlevania 1, where you're like, this is still a good game. Anyway, but the one thing about Metroid 1 that's so good is the soundtrack. Holy crap. It's so good. Even the start screen music where...
Oh, yeah.
Just such a great sound. Man, Nintendo in charge of NES sound... Like, Castlevania 2 is not a great game, but that is an all-time soundtrack. It's only like 7 or 8 different tracks, but holy crap. The first Bloody Tears, are you kidding me?
Yeah, the NES sound chip, while I'm not the hugest fan of the NES in general, there's some great games on it though, but the NES sound chip is so good. And while I like the Super Nintendo in almost every way, I think the Super Nintendo sound chip is pretty bad.
I mean, how can you compare with the Sega Genesis sound chip?
Yeah, Sega Genesis is like obviously very different, but I still like the way that the Super Nintendo sounds. But the Super Nintendo sound chip is just like so much reverb. It just sounds really muffled and just kind of bad. And this is coming from someone that Super Nintendo might be my favorite console. It's hard to say. It's either that or PS1.
Speaking of consoles, we have another case of a big game, that being Monster Hunter. By the way, did we sell out?
No.
Okay.
We didn't sell actually any copy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's good.
Good.
So we have a couple heading to the week. Anyway, we have another case of a big AAA game performing much better on console than it is on PC. Like, PC has been getting a lot of crap.
Oh, you mean like performance?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Monster Hunter Wild...
Sales is probably better on
It hit
PC.
a crazy concurrent peak. It was like 1.4 million or something.
That's
it was just
nuts.
like insane.
And no, in terms of like...
But yeah, performance-wise.
The new... Well, not the new, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor was a big one. Like, you couldn't even play it on PC when it came out. And there's something else that recently came out that was really bad on PC by comparison to might be... Was it... I think it was Dragon's Dogma 2. Don't quote me on that, but...
Yeah, a lot of people have been annoyed at the, at least the PC ports for new RE Engine games. They just run really bad, weirdly.
I don't get it.
Which, like, RE Engine has, like, always been known for being, like, pretty well optimized.
Is there a way to, like, get data for how many, like, general... What the percentage is between, like, all console compared to PC nowadays? Like... I guess it would just be sales numbers of certain games.
Yeah, Sony just does not share, like, how many people are, like, playing a certain game at all.
Because obviously you can look to see how many PS5s have sold, but you can't look to see how many, like, PCs have sold, you know?
Yeah, all you can really do is just being, like, the amount of PS5s versus how much it's sold.
What do you think, for current gen stuff, what do you think the split between PC and every console, I'll say including Switch, do you think it's 50-50 nowadays?
Of what again?
PC versus newer gen consoles, like in terms of like what people like main or what they generally play.
I'd probably say 50-50, yeah.
It's so funny that for
there's
that,
definitely a lot more. Well, I was about to say there's a lot more PC users. I mean, there's a lot of more people with Steam accounts, but they have said that like a lot of the accounts like don't play anything, like they're just inactive.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do I... Oh. Right,
And PC, people who play PC are like, they're like vegans. They can't possibly PC without telling you that you're playing. Dude, it happens probably once a week at the store where someone comes in to like sell a PS4 or something, they go, and I'm like, oh, hey man, store credit or cash? Oh, cash. I switched to PC. And I'm like...
I think the worst of the worst is people that pirate like console games on PC. They have to tell you about it.
Oh yeah, that is.
It's
that
like
is true.
Yeah, I'm playing this Switch game day one on PC. It's like cool, man.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Right.
I do not have a stake in Nintendo.
I think the weirdest thing is when people talk about like, they'll be on like on TV and they'll be like, hey, where's the... I don't know what the thing... The Pirate Bay doesn't exist, but where's the Pirate Bay torrent link for Severance episode 7? And I'm like, dude, Apple TV Plus is like $10 a month. Like, this seems like a lot of work to like spend a bunch of time downloading this singular episode when it's like, I don't know, like it seems weird to me. I can even understand like brand new movies being like, where's the torrent for this brand new movie? Because like paying $20 to go see a single movie is pretty stupid. But when someone's like, hey, does anyone have that new episode of this thing on Paramount Plus? I'm like, God dang, dude, like, can you not torrent for 5 seconds?
I personally probably pirate everything that I watch, but I only like stupid weeb crap, so it's not nearly as...
Well, I don't know. I mean, where do you watch a lot of weeb crap besides, like... What does Funimation have their own thing?
It's like Crunchyroll.
It's mostly Crunchyroll, right? Yeah.
And Crunchyroll sucks.
I've heard that.
But honestly, I mean, I don't have like a place. I just go like show episode 1 on Google. I'm like, okay, the hunt begins.
Well, because sometimes there's like animes I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that, but Crunchyroll is something that I do not subscribe to, and quite frankly, I wouldn't use it.
Yeah, it's too specific. You have to be like, I want to watch a bunch of anime.
And that's not me. But sometimes I'm like, man, where do I find this random thing on? But yeah, there's a famous cartoon of there's a guy in a bathroom and there's like 20 urinals set up. And there's a guy standing at one, and this other guy walks in, and instead of going to any of the other urinals, he goes and stands up next to the other guy when all the other urinals are empty, and he's like, just want to let you know I'm vegan. And that's me for PC people. I just want to let you know I play PC. It's like, oh my god, you have a PC? Ah, sir! I redeemed it, sir. I redeem. Sorry, PC players. I do play on PC sometimes. I
mean, we
I just last week I played shovelware asset flip piece of garbage game. I beat an hour. By the way, the refund did go through.
Very nice.
So
yeah, Steam refunds are very generous as long as it's like, you know.
I think it's less than 2 hours, right, nowadays. I thought it used to be 4, but easily beat that in that period of time. I don't know. It's one of those cases of certain people being louder than others. Like, I think Switch people are kind of like that, where they're like, I'm a Nintendo fan, and you're like, yeah, great.
I think everyone is obnoxious
to an extent, yeah.
The only ones that aren't obnoxious are Xbox, because they don't exist anymore.
They have, if they do exist, they have nothing to be proud about.
Hey, we got this game on Game Pass.
Forza's coming to PS now.
I feel so bad for people that invested in Xbox. It's so obvious that's gonna die in the next 10 years.
It is crazy. Maybe they'll bring Psychonauts 2 to PS5. That'd be one I'd be interested in checking out. Oh, what's that?
Psychonauts 2 is already on PS5.
Oh, is it on PS5?
I have a physical copy of it.
Oh, okay. What's that one that the studio just got shut down, but the game was awesome? Hi-Fi Rush? That's an Xbox game, right? Or did that come out?
Yeah, Tango Gameworks. Yeah, it came out on Xbox and then they shut down the studio. Although I think the studio was saved by someone. I forget who.
Oh, that's cool. Waggle.
Yeah, this is the bad part about Waggle. It's like it doesn't work.
Are you playing with a Motion Plus one?
Yeah.
Even worse.
Although I don't think like games that don't support or the gyroscope in the Plus models, I don't think it makes any difference.
See, I always thought that having Motion Plus made every game a little better.
No, it's just games that like support gyroscope. That's really all they added to the Plus.
So that would be like 2009 and newer games, aka games that don't use Waggle. GG.
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone was like third parties were really mad at Nintendo because they kind of just shadow dropped this without telling them. And yeah, it was just too little, too late. I remember in an interview, Iwata said that they wanted to put a gyroscope in the original Wiimote, but it was too expensive. I don't know how that extra $1 mattered, but whatever. Kind of. To be honest, I don't think the gyroscope in the Wii Motion Plus is actually any like really that good. Like you play like Wii Motion Plus games, like Skyward Sword, it feels like crap. Because you have to like recalibrate the controller all the time because it just goes off center. Where like this game just uses like infrared and like very basic movements, and I think that's where like the Wii kind of excels. Like anything that uses infrared.
I mean, Wii remotes were $40 brand new, which I know is a lot less than like controllers now. But man, people picked up Wiis, and they almost always picked up an extra controller, and oftentimes 3 extra controllers. So like, they could have put that extra couple bucks into it, and still been perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's weird. It's probably just Nintendo's philosophy of like they probably needed like a certain like really hardcore profit margin for the controllers, and they're just like, nope, it's 50 cents too little.
Man, I'm hoping that controllers in the future all have Hall effect joysticks, because the stick drift on PS5 controllers is getting out of hand.
Yeah, and it was like almost intentional because it's like the same style of controller, but Sony like made the sensitivity really, really hardcore, which makes it feel really responsive when it's good. But if you have any sort of drift at all, you'll notice it immediately. Alright, I'll do next part.
Yeah, I mean, all of our controllers currently have stick drift. Now, part of that is probably Ferris being a pretty rough 11-year-old, but I mean, one of the controllers was gotten brand new like, I don't know, 6-9 months ago, and I'm just like, damn, like, to already have like enough drift that it's like fairly noticeable and stuff is so brutal. So, and Hall effect joysticks are so cheap, we can buy them from our distributor for like a couple bucks a piece. So I'm like, why? I honestly think if Sony came out and was like, hey, we got these new brand PS5 controllers, they're not like elite controllers or anything.
What did it say?
We are now ready to execute the final stage of our plan.
Place the bomb in the cargo hold.
Oh, right.
Like, hey, all the joysticks, they now have Hall effect joysticks, but you know, they're $80 now. Although some DualSenses, from what I understand, are $80 anyway because they're like a special color. But hey, they're $10.
There's a lot that are like 75. I think.
Yeah, 70. Yeah, they're $10 more, but they have these special joysticks. I think people would be fine with it, especially the fact that I talk to a lot of people that are like, yeah, I get like 6 months to a year out of my controllers, and it's like, even with everyday use, that's not okay.
Yeah, but then they can sell a controller every year and also sell the DualSense Edge for $200. And pretty much one of the only defining features of that thing is being able to swap out the joysticks, which they sell for a lot of money.
Absolutely brutal. I don't know how...
God, I hope the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are good. I hope they're not pieces of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they have a newer brand Pro Controller, because the Switch Pro Controller is excellent. I know it can get stick drift, but the feel of it, it's just a very comfortable controller.
It is a, pretty solid controller. Although, I always thought about this for the Pro Controller and how, like, it doesn't match up, like, aesthetically against the Switch at all. Like, it has those, like, Band-Aid rubber, like, controller sides, and it has sort of, like, translucent dark plastic, and, like, it looks nice in isolation, but, like, it doesn't, like, match aesthetically with the Switch at all, and nothing else looks like it.
That's true.
It's kind of weird.
We're just about a month away. In fact, we're an exact a month away from the announcement of the Switch 2.
I should have chosen now. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I can't wait for it to be
grim
6 months of awfulness, just answering questions upon questions. You're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. Gonna have it. Can I pre-order? Can I pre-order? Can I pre-order? Can I pre-order?
It's been grim times for the Switch One right now. Just absolutely nothing.
Yeah. What was the last? Donkey Kong came out in early January.
Yeah, that's it. They're doing Xenoblade X.
Is this the end of the game?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is the end of this.
No, just the way that it's talking, it's like, you know how they'll always give you things like, this is the point of no return, yes or no, you know, kind of thing. Cloud, we can't go back from here, we got to jump into the crater, yes or no, you know?
So it's been about an hour. The next part is... Oh, I can't go back. Okay. I guess we're doing it. It's not super long. It's like 10 minutes, but whatever. Maybe I'll make this 3 parts.
Actually, Hover.
I did not know I was going to be cut off.
You're cut off, Samus. You've had enough.
Cut off from backtracking.
Yo, I should have mentioned this first thing, but like these last week of weather has been the absolute worst. It was like 40 degrees. No, it was like 30 degrees. Then it was like mid 50s. Now it's back to like 30 again. In fact, earlier today, when I was out in the early afternoon in my car, I had the cool air coming out of the AC. And I got in the car again this evening to pick up dinner, and it was cold AF. That's like a 20-degree difference during the day.
That's
like maybe
awesome.
30 degree. That's crazy.
I think it's supposed to be like 30, like high for like a while, or at least the next couple of days.
People in Pennsylvania, people always think the second March rolls around that they're like, spring, good weather.
There's snow in April sometimes.
We always get a snow in March. We will definitely get a snow in March. And because of the way it works, a lot of times the snows in March are actually quite big, although they go away pretty quickly. This is the one, I usually like winter because I like cold weather, but this is the one winter I'm like, I'm done. Even though I know I'm going to sweat for the next 9 months. I'm like,
yes.
would I rather sweat or would I rather be sick for 3 months?
I used to kind of think that winter was my favorite season because like I don't get allergies or anything, but like recently, I guess just naturally from getting old, but my skin is just so dry all the time.
Oh
it's
no,
awful.
it's been very dry. It's been incredibly dry. Pew 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 pew.
Okay, I was about to that thing took like a
Up 1.5, right?
1.5. I was like, what is going on?
Oh, and one other thing that's cool in the gaming world is companies are starting to make brand new controllers, or guitar controllers for certain systems. We're stocking Wii and PS3 guitars again, and that's so nice.
Yeah, and the PS3 ones, I guess, came out recently, but anyway, we got them like in the last weekend. I sold like 3 today. Like, it's so nice that people can like buy new ones and not buy like $150 like used.
And they're
ones
brand new
anymore.
for $75, and I don't know about the quality, although Hyperkin generally makes pretty good stuff. Their stuff isn't the quality of like analog, like the analog pocket or whatever, but that stuff's also very expensive. But brand new PS3 guitar controller for $75 that can also be used for PC is pretty cool to me. I'm curious as to why. I know why Wii was done first, because that just has to be the easiest, because it essentially just a holder.
Yeah, it's just a pity
But
break
I'm-
for the Wii remote.
I'm curious why PS3 was done before 360.
There's a lot more generic like PlayStation accessories
Yeah, right?
that are like wireless. So I guess just like
Maybe it's tougher.
yeah, it's just like easier to replicate or whatever.
I hope they do eventually make a wired PS2 one, even if it's only like $50. That would help quite a bit. Because people are asking about those all the time, but one thing I'm never, even if companies start to make brand new drum sets, I do not think I'm going to be carrying those. They're just too big. Unless they find a way to physically make the boxes like a lot smaller, they take up too much real estate in store. Those Rock Band bundles when they first came out were so huge. And generally you would only have like 2 of each system one, and it would still be like this huge pyramid of stuff. No thank you. And
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this, but
Yeah, they were just
the
giant
Rock
armies.
Band bundles, when you opened them up, they on the very top they had a piece of paper that said, if you have any problems or if they're defective in any way, contact Harmonix or Red Octane or whatever. It wasn't contact like GameStop or whatever. Like they wouldn't take returns on that stuff. It was you literally had to like contact the manufacturer. It's very interesting.
I mean, it was probably just like a clause making retailers even carrying it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it'd be awful otherwise.
Oh yeah, I would never. The only way is if I could tell customers like, hey, worst case scenario, you got to go through Harmonix. Because if they were like, just the bass is broken on this, or the bass pedal, I'd be like, oh my god. Like it would be so annoying to replace just that. We in it, lads.
Yeah, we're currently on a bomb that's trying to penetrate like a gas giant planet or something to get to the seed. And of course, you have to manually configure the bomb, and now our escape pod is malfunctioning. Classic.
Samus, do everything.
Quite literally.
Whenever Samus does anything, I'm reminded of that South Park episode. It's a very early one where Kenny has to go and turn on the electricity for the hospital. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And they're like, and the doctor's like, teams will be all of us, team 1, and team 2 is Kenny. So Kenny, and everyone like, and that was already at the point where it was like, oh my god, they killed Kenny. So we was like, what? And what was I gonna say? They were like, Kenny, you will go outside and travel through the sewer and find your way to the breaker where you have to flip the switch and do all this stuff, while Team 1 will be in here enjoying cheesy poofs and watching TV. And he's like, that's not fair. It's so good. But that's Samus. Samus is literally Kenny in that, where it's like, even in Other M, I forget, who's that guy that Samus
Adam.
is? Adam. Adam's like,
I was thinking about Other M today and how like just
do everything.
and like Adam also like restricts you, because in Other M Samus already has all her power-ups. Like that's the only game where they restrict your power-ups just by Adam being like, you can't use that. And there's such stupid moments.
Nope.
Yeah. There's such stupid moments that happen, like going through a lava place, not having the Vario suit active, and the Vario suit is not dangerous at all. It's just like a function to regulate temperature in Samus's power suit, and it's like, why can't you authorize that until I'm halfway through the lava place? It's so stupid. And because the story in that game is awful, and the characterization of Samus is just so, just baffling, makes her look like she's like not has any agency over her own thoughts, just mindlessly follows what Adam has to say. Way to take like the most like badass female character in any video game and make her the weakest, most pathetic person in the world in one game.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Bravo, Sakamoto. Alright, wherever. I think I'm right next to my ship. Yeah, I am. Alright, so next time we'll fight the boss and get off this kind of crappy world.
The plan worked.
I think this world like is kind of cool at first, but then it's just like the same thing over and over, like the same aesthetics and just back and forth, and it's okay. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's definitely the weakest planet. The next planet we do is the space pirate homeworld, and that planet is cool and looks cool.
Come in, ship.
Skip that cutscene. Ooh, loading.
Yeah, that was weird. An actual loading screen.
Yeah, because they usually hide the loading screens with the cutscene, but the ship takeoff and like landing thing is one of the very few cutscenes in the entire game you can skip.
All right, boys and ghouls. That was some more Metroid Prime 3. we'll see you next time, visiting that pirate's homeworld. And I bet there's going to be a bunch of pirates to fight. Can you believe it? Alright, we'll see you next time, and